Proverbs 19 through 31 of the Holy Bible, American Standard Version. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 19. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips, and is a fool. Also that the soul be without knowledge is not good, and he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man subverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against Jehovah. Wealth addeth many friends, but the poor is separated from his friend. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that uttereth lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the liberal man, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, but they are gone. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that uttereth lies shall perish. Delicate living is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. The discretion of a man maketh him slow to anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are an inheritance from fathers, but a prudent wife is from Jehovah. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and the idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his soul, but he that is careless of his ways shall die. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto Jehovah, and his good deed will he pay him again. Chasten thy son, seeing there is hope, and set not thy heart on his destruction. A man of great wealth shall bear the penalty, for if thou deliver him, thou must do it yet again. Hear counsel, and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart, but the counsel of Jehovah, that shall stand. That which maketh a man to be desired is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of Jehovah tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. The sluggard burieth his hand in the dish, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. Smite a scoffer, and the simple will learn prudence, and reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. He that doeth violence to his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causeth shame, and bringeth reproach. Cease, my son, to hear instruction, only to err from the words of knowledge. A worthless witness mocketh at justice, and the mouth of the wicked swalloweth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scoffers, and stripes for the back of fools. End of chapter 19. Chapter 20. Wine is a mocker, strong drink a brawler, and whosoever erreth thereby is not wise. The terror of a king is as the roaring of a lion. He that provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own life. It is an honor for a man to keep aloof from strife, but every fool will be quarreling. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the winter, therefore he shall beg in harvest, and have nothing. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Most men will proclaim every one his own kindness, but a faithful man who can find? A righteous man that walketh in his integrity, blessed are his children after him. A king that sitteth on the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am pure from my sin? Diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them alike, are an abomination to Jehovah. Even a child maketh himself known by his doings, whether his work be pure, and whether it be right. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, Jehovah hath made even both of them. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. It is bad, saith the buyer, but when he is gone his way, then he boasteth. There is gold and abundance of rubies, but the lips of knowledge are a precious jewel. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and hold him in pledge that is surety for foreigners. Bread of falsehood is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel. Every purpose is established by counsel, and by wise guidance make thou war. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore company not with him that openeth wide his lips. Whoso curseth his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in blackness of darkness. An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. Say not thou, I will recompense evil. Wait for Jehovah, and he will save thee. Diverse weights are an abomination to Jehovah, and a false balance is not good. A man's goings are of Jehovah. How then can man understand his way? It is a snare to a man rashly to say, It is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. A wise king winnoweth the wicked, and bringeth the thrashing wheel over them. The spirit of man is the lamp of Jehovah, searching all his innermost parts. Kindness and truth preserve the king, and his throne is upholden by kindness. The glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the hoary head. Stripes that wound cleanse away evil, and strokes reach the innermost parts. End of chapter 20. Chapter 21. The king's heart is in the hand of Jehovah as the watercourses. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but Jehovah weigheth the hearts. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to Jehovah than sacrifice. A high look and a proud heart, even the lamp of the wicked, is sin. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but every one that is hasty hasteth only to want. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vapor driven to and fro by them that seek death. The violence of the wicked shall sweep them away, because they refuse to do justice. The way of him that is laden with guilt is exceeding crooked, but as for the pure, his work is right. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a contentious woman in a wide house. The soul of the wicked desireth evil, his neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. When the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise, and when the wise is instructed, he receiveth knowledge. The righteous man considereth the house of the wicked, how the wicked are overthrown to their ruin. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry, but shall not be heard. A gift in secret pacifieth anger, and a present in the bosom strong wrath. It is joy to the righteous to do justice, but it is a destruction to the workers of iniquity. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall rest in the assembly of the dead. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. The wicked is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous cometh in the stead of the upright. It is better to dwell in a desert land than with a contentious and fretful woman. There is precious treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man swalloweth it up. He that followeth after righteousness and kindness findeth life, righteousness, and honor. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and bringeth down the strength of the confidence thereof. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. The proud and haughty man, scoffer is his name. He worketh in the arrogance of pride. The desire of the sluggard killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor. There is that coveteth greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and withholdeth not. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind? A false witness shall perish, but the man that heareth shall speak so as to endure. A wicked man hardeneth his face, but as for the upright, he establisheth his ways. There is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against Jehovah. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but victory is of Jehovah. End of chapter 21. Chapter 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together. Jehovah is the maker of them all. A prudent man seeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and suffer for it. The reward of humility and the fear of Jehovah is riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the perverse. He that keepeth his soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap calamity, and the rod of his wrath shall fail. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scoffer, and contention will go out, yea, strife and ignominy will cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips the king will be his friend. The eyes of Jehovah preserve him that hath knowledge, but he overthroweth the words of the treacherous man. The sluggard saith, There is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of Jehovah shall fall therein. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his gain, and he that giveth to the rich, shall come only to want. Incline thine ear, and hear the words of the wise, and apply thy heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing, if thou keep them within thee, if they be established together upon thy lips. That thy trust may be in Jehovah, I have made them known to thee this day, even to thee. Have not I written unto thee excellent things of counsels and knowledge, to make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mayest carry back words of truth to them that send thee? Rob not the poor, because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For Jehovah will plead their cause, and despoil of life those that despoil them. Make no friendship with a man that is given to anger, and with a wrathful man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways, and get a snare to thy soul. Be thou not one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast not wherewith to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Remove not the ancient landmark, which thy fathers have set. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. End of chapter 22. Chapter 23. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently him that is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, seeing they are deceitful food. Weary not thyself to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings, like an eagle that flieth toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainties. For as he thinketh within himself, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the ancient landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is strong. He will plead their cause against thee. Apply thy heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beat him with the rod, he will not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from Sheol. My son, if thy heart be wise, my heart will be glad, even mine, yea, my heart will rejoice, when thy lips speak right things. Let not thy heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of Jehovah all the day long. For surely there is a reward, and thy hope shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thy heart in the way. Be not among wine-bibbers, among gluttonous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness will clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth, and sell it not. Yea, wisdom and instruction and understanding. The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child will have joy of him. Let thy father and thy mother be glad, and let her that bare thee rejoice. My son, give me thy heart, and let thine eyes delight in my ways. For a harlot is a deep ditch, and a foreign woman is a narrow pit. Yea, she lieth in wait as a robber, and increaseth the treacherous among men. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath complaining? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek out mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it sparkleth in the cup, when it goeth down smoothly. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange things, and thy heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not hurt. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. End of chapter 23. Chapter 24. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth oppression, and their lips talk of mischief. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge are the chambers filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth might. For by wise guidance thou shalt make thy war, and in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool, he openeth not his mouth in the gate. He that deviseth to do evil, men shall call him a mischief maker. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to men. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Deliver them that are carried away unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, see that thou hold back. If thou sayest, Behold, we knew not this, doth not he that weigheth the hearts consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his work? My son, eat thou honey, for it is good, and the droppings of the honeycomb, which are sweet to thy taste. So shalt thou know wisdom to be unto thy soul. If thou hast found it, then shall there be a reward, and thy hope shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the habitation of the righteous. Destroy not his resting place. For a righteous man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again, but the wicked are overthrown by calamity. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thy heart be glad when he is overthrown, lest Jehovah see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man, the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. My son, fear thou Jehovah and the king, and company not with them that are given to change, for their calamity shall rise suddenly, and the destruction from them both, who knoweth it? These also are sayings of the wise. To have respect of persons in judgment is not good. He that saith unto the wicked, Thou art righteous, peoples shall curse him, nations shall abhor him, but to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them. He kisseth the lips who giveth a right answer. Prepare thy work without, and make it ready for thee in the field, and afterwards build thy house. Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his work. I went by the field of the sluggard, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding, and lo, it was all grown over with thorns. The face thereof was covered with nettles, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I beheld and considered well. I saw and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as a robber, and thy want as an armed man. End of chapter 24. Chapter 25. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah king of Judah copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there cometh forth a vessel for the refiner. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Put not thyself forward in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men, for better is it that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom thine eyes have seen. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and disclose not the secret of another, lest he that heareth it revile thee, and thine infamy turn not away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in network of silver. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him. For he refresheth the soul of his masters. As clouds and wind without rain, so is he that boasteth himself of his gifts falsely. By long forbearing is a ruler persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith, and vomit it. Let thy foot be seldom in thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and hate thee. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth, and a foot out of joint. As one that taketh off a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon soda, so is he that singeth songs to a heavy heart. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou wilt heap coals of fire upon his head, and Jehovah will reward thee. The north wind bringeth forth rain, so doth a backbiting tongue an angry countenance. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a contentious woman in a wide house. As cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. As a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man that giveth way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search out their own glory is grievous. He whose spirit is without restraint is like a city that is broken down and without walls. End of chapter 25. Chapter 26. As snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the sparrow in her wandering, as the swallow in her flying, so the curse that is causeless alighteth not. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the back of fools. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off his own feet, and drinketh in damage. The legs of the lame hang loose, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. As one that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn that goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. As an archer that woundeth all, so is he that hireth a fool, and he that hireth them that pass by. As a dog that returneth to his vomit, so is a fool that repeateth his folly. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The sluggard saith, There is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon its hinges, so doth the sluggard upon his bed. The sluggard buryeth his hand in the dish, it wearieth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by, and vexeth himself with strife belonging not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, Am not I in sport? For lack of wood the fire goeth out, and where there is no whisperer, contention ceaseth. As coals are to hot embers, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to inflame strife. The words of a whisperer are as dainty morsels, and they go down into the innermost parts. Fervent lips and a wicked heart are like an earthen vessel overlaid with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, but he layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred cover itself with guile, his wickedness shall be openly showed before the assembly. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it shall return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those whom it hath wounded, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. End of chapter 26. Chapter 27. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's vexation is heavier than they both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is overwhelming, but who is able to stand before jealousy? Better is open rebuke than love that is hidden. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are profuse. The full soul loatheth a honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Oil and perfume rejoice the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend that cometh of hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, and go not to thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. Better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man seeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on, and suffer for it. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and hold him in pledge that is surety for a foreign woman. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping at a very rainy day, and a contentious woman are alike. He that would restrain her restraineth the wind, and his right hand encountereth oil. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, and he that regardeth his master shall be honored. As in water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and the eyes of man are never satisfied. The refining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, and a man is tried by his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar with a pestle, along with bruised grain, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds, for riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure unto all generations? The hay is carried, and the tender grass showeth itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered in. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field, and there will be goat's milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and maintenance for thy maidens. End of chapter 27. Chapter 28. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. For the transgression of a land many are the princes thereof, but by men of understanding and knowledge the state thereof shall be prolonged. A needy man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaveth no food. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men understand not justice, but they that seek Jehovah understand all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of gluttons shameth his father. He that augmenteth his substance by interest and increase gathereth it for him that hath pity on the poor. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Whoso causeth the upright to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit, but the perfect shall inherit good. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. When the righteous triumph, there is great glory, But when the wicked rise, men hide themselves. He that covereth his transgressions shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall obtain mercy. Happy is the man that feareth alway, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over a poor people. The prince that lacketh understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that is laden with the blood of any person shall flee unto the pit. Let no man stay him. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be delivered, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be unpunished. To have respect of persons is not good, neither that a man should transgress for a piece of bread. He that hath an evil eye hasteth after riches, and knoweth not that want shall come upon him. He that rebuketh a man shall afterward find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother, and saith, It is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer. He that is of a greedy spirit stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in Jehovah shall be made fat. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. End of chapter 28. Chapter 29. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are increased, the people rejoice, but when a wicked man beareth rule, the people sigh. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots wasteth his substance. The king by justice establisheth the land, but he that exacteth gifts overthroweth it. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his steps. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. The righteous taketh knowledge of the cause of the poor, the wicked hath not understanding to know it. Scoffers set a city in a flame, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man hath a controversy with a foolish man, whether he be angry or laugh, there will be no rest. The bloodthirsty hate him that is perfect, and as for the upright, they seek his life. A fool uttereth all his anger, but a wise man keepeth it back and stilleth it. If a ruler hearkeneth to falsehood, all his servants are wicked. The poor man and the oppressor meet together. Jehovah lighteneth the eyes of them both. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself causeth shame to his mother. When the wicked are increased, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall look upon their fall. Correct thy son, and he will give thee rest. Yea, he will give delight unto thy soul. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not give heed. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him. He that delicately bringeth up his servant from a child shall have him become a son at the last. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a wrathful man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but he that is of a lowly spirit shall obtain honor. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth the adjuration, and uttereth nothing. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in Jehovah shall be safe. Many seek the ruler's favor, but a man's judgment cometh from Jehovah. An unjust man is an abomination to the righteous, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. End of chapter 29. Chapter 30. The words of Agur, the son of Jacob, the oracle. The man saith unto Ithiel and Ukal, Surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of a man, and I have not learned wisdom, neither have I the knowledge of the Holy One. Who hath ascended up into heaven, and descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in his garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name, if thou knowest? Every word of God is tried. He is a shield unto them that take refuge in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. 2 things have I asked of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me falsehood and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food that is needful for me, lest I be full and deny thee, and say, Who is Jehovah? Or lest I be poor and steal, and use profanely the name of my God. Slander not a servant unto his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be held guilty. There is a generation that curse their father, and bless not their mother. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet are not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. The horseleech hath 2 daughters, crying, Give, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied, yea, 4 that say not, Enough. Sheol and the barren womb, the earth that is not satisfied with water, and the fire that saith not, Enough. The eye that mocketh at his father, and despiseth to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagles shall eat it. There are 3 things which are too wonderful for me, yea, 4 which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maiden. So is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. For 3 things the earth doth tremble, and for 4 which it cannot bear. For a servant when he is king, and a fool when he is filled with food. for an odious woman when she is married, and a handmaid that is heir to her mistress. There are 4 things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they provide their food in the summer. The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make they their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no king, yet go they forth, all of them by bands. The lizard taketh hold with her hands, yet is she in kings' palaces. There are 3 things which are stately in their march, yea, 4 which are stately in going. The lion, which is mightiest among beasts, and turneth not away for any. The greyhound, the he-goat also, and the king against whom there is no rising up. If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thy hand upon thy mouth, for the churning of milk bringeth forth butter, and the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood, so the forcing of wrath bringeth forth strife. End of chapter 30. Chapter 31. The words of King Lemuel, the oracle, which his mother taught him. What, my son, and what, O son of my womb, and what, O son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes to say, Where is strong drink? Lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the justice due to any that is afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto the bitter in soul. Let him drink, and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb, in the cause of all such as are left desolate. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and minister justice to the poor and needy. A worthy woman who can find? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband trusteth in her, and he shall have no lack of gain. She doeth him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships, she bringeth her bread from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth food to her household, and their task to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and maketh strong her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh for herself carpets of tapestry. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh linen garments and selleth them, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laugheth at the time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and the law of kindness is on her tongue. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her, saying, Many daughters have done worthily, but thou excellest them all. Grace is deceitful, and beauty is vain, But a woman that feareth Jehovah, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. End of chapter 31.